They call them gizzards, gizzards, part of the chicken, not two-finger licking.
Hello, and welcome to the month of December. I took a little bit of a hiatus after the 31 days of the kings, the queens of Halloween, and I am back to do a micro mini video film review kind of thing. Now that I'm saying that, watch me go like into 10 minutes or whatever. But
Bad monkey.
I do want to quickly highlight one of my favorite films and this beautiful new release of it. And I, of course, am talking about Vinegar Syndrome's release of Tromeo and Juliet.
Oh, fingers. I love fingers. Give me fingers.
Excellent.
One of the best Troma films ever for my money. A absolutely crackling script, partially by James Gunn and Lloyd Kaufman. This film came into my life as a teenager and I was immediately hooked. I think I first read about it before I saw it via an article in Fangoria. And I was very intrigued, because of course, obviously, even as a kid, I was familiar with Troma. As any budding monster kid, cult film, sleazoid, ultimate degenerate would be, Gutter Queen. And I was like, wow. And then, Lemmy, this whole thing about Lemmy being sort of the Greek chorus of the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got Lemmy from Motorhead, we got Troma, we've got these insano looking practical effects, a cast full of young alt culture, just like cool kids, which of course spoke to me as a weirdo teenager. Fast forward years later, I still love the film. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's, for my money, tied with Terror Firmer as far as my personal all-time favorite Troma films. There are other Troma films I love. Those two just are usually War of the Gargantua style battling out over which one is my favorite. This is gonna come up as a little bit of it's not meant as a flex, but you know what, if it's a flex, so be it.
What axe you suck?
I got to be a part of this release, which is which still blows my mind, all thanks to Claudia Predolin, the producer of this release. I've been doing film writing and basically just sort of like nonfiction culture, cool culture, outre culture writing for many years now. And I've worked with a variety of personality types, and most people, it's like anything in life. The majority of people are cool. Some are cooler than others. Some are okay. Every once in a while you do deal with a bad apple, but such is life. It's easy for people to get cynical and be like, blah, 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 sucks. Listen, any job you work, I don't care what profession it is, you're going to deal with some beauties. You're going to deal with some, some not so beauties. But Claudia is one of the beauties. She's amazing.
It's new and it's oh so delicioso. And you're going to be the first one to try it out.
This is what I did. I got to be a part of this written essay. And look at that. Just, gosh, so great. I love that this looks like Cliff Notes, by the way. This is a flex. I never, ever used Cliff Notes in high school or junior high. I was very much a literature kid. And so even if I wasn't like a fan of the work, I was like, I just viewed this as kind of cheating. I viewed that as cheating until I was taking Russian literature in college and we got to Tolstoy. And it's not because Tolstoy was too hard. I love Russian literature. I love Soviet literature. Tolstoy, it's not my flavor.
How would you like me to use your guts to Jackson Pollock the street?
Pollock the street.
Also, Tolstoy. Okay, he's dead already. Whatever. This is so cool because I get to be next to writers such as Bill Bria, who did this piece, Jumpin' the Gun to End. So that's the thing is, everybody now knows James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy and just doing a lot of these super insano budget CGI superhero films. I'm not hating any of it because the man's been giving Michael Rooker work, and I love Michael Rooker. We have also this essay by Jesse Berberich. We, of course, got the credits, but that's the thing with physical media, and especially when you do a really nice release of something. There's a whole group of people working together to make this kind of thing happen. I mean, you've got people doing the restoration, producing the supplements, producing, right down to hiring an illustrator. Look at that. Look at that. And actually, let's give the illustrators real quick, because we got the slipcases, Luke Insect, and the slipcover and book cover, Johnny Ryan. As far as the film, if you're somebody who has never been interested in Troma films and you have this view of them as being films intentionally made to be gross out cult films. And there's always that discussion. You have something's made with the intention of being like a cult B movie. Is it really a cult B movie? Because some of our most beloved cult films were not really made with the intention of being that. You know, Ed Wood's probably the best example of that. But my counterpoint to that is actually a lot of great cult films were kind of made to be that. I mean, even something like Herschel Gordon Lewis's filmography, where, you know, there might not have been the vernacular when Herschel was making classic films. People weren't talking about cult films back then. I mean, people weren't even making gore films back then. That's why he's the godfather of gore. But Herschel went into it as along with David Friedman, as a money thing, as a carny thing, as a what's this wild world we can kind of tap into, because, you know, we don't have the thousands and millions of dollars to make a big budget spectacle film. We can't make Ben-Hur. We can't make Spartacus, but we can do something, and we can create films that aren't like anything else. And that's the thing that will make up for there being a lack of big budget. And to me, that's the pioneering spirit. And the pioneering spirit is all throughout cult film. And I think it's also kind of all throughout the best Troma films. Yeah, I mean, Troma's like any company. There are some absolute dogs in the catalog.
Wherefore art thou, Tromeo?
Troma has some great films. And I mean, yeah, they're not for everybody's flavor. But even Tromeo and Juliet, and I would say Terror Firmer as well, to me are a notch above something like The Toxic Avenger or Class of Nuke 'Em High. And those are two films I adore. I love. And part of that is the cast. I love the cast in all of these movies. But the cast here just bring like an extra layer of legitimacy, which sort of makes the surreal and the sleazy and the gruery aspects of it even more sort of like poignant and hilarious and weird. You have this strange contrast going on in these films. Plus, Will Keenan and Jane Jensen are fabulous. And they are absolutely my favorite Romeo and Juliet in film history. I said it, I do love Olivia Hussey, but the Zeffirelli film's great, even though the actors got kind of shanghaied into being naked on screen, which that wasn't here. Everybody knew they were going to be naked. So maybe this one is the better one, huh? Does Zeffirelli's have Lemmy? Did the Baz Luhrmann one have Mercutio played as a character called Murray Martini, which, by the way, Valentine Miele in this film is straight up fire. And he's still acting. I think he's done a lot more theater stuff, but film people, give him money and put him in your films, because this guy is straight up amazing. You also get people like Stephen Blackheart, Maximilian Shawn, who's the absolute greasiest Capulet patriarch ever, and he's phenomenal in it. We get the term Jackson Pollock as a verb. That alone makes me love this film. So yeah, if any of that sounds appealing to you, check out Tromeo and Juliet. It's great. Support physical media, support independent film, support artists who love you enough to give you something coming from the heart, coming from people that love what they're doing. Don't give money to the cynical lap dance. Give money to the lap dance with heart.
How would you like me to use your guts to Jackson Pollock the street? Huh?
They call them gizzards, part of the chicken.